like to call to order the Westmont Village Board meeting on September 26, 2019, to order at 6:04 p.m. And I'd ask Clerk Simsky for a roll call.
Mayor Gunther?
Here.
The clerk's here. Trustee Addington?
Here.
Trustee Barker?
Here.
Trustee Barry?
Here.
Trustee Guzzo is absent. Trustee Little? Here. Trustee Nero?
Here.
Attorney Signage?
Here.
Manager May?
Here.
Finance Director Parker?
Here. Would everybody please rise and join me in the pledge? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. First item, open forum. If there's anyone here who wants to talk about an item not on the agenda, now's the time. Seeing no one, I close open forum, move on to reports. My report is first, and I'm going to ask Bruce Barker to introduce Earth Flag presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight we have a special recognition for the village, and I'm going to call John Yater up, our arborist, and he is going to tell us a little bit more how we can be recognized here in Westmont.
Thank you, Trustee Barker, Village Board and Mayor. Thank you for having us. It's my pleasure to come to you today and present, actually help present the village with our Earth Flag. Now, the Earth Flag is essentially, it represents the community's commitment to the environment, to environmentally friendly initiatives, and making the world around us and our community a better place to live. Now, Ms. McKean will explain a little bit more about the Earth Flag and the steps and I guess the significance of what it means for the community to achieve this. But it's a very special thing to achieve for the community. Yeah, okay, we're running. So we went through a lot of steps to get here. It's been about a 3-year process. You're probably all wondering what it takes. How do we get here? It wasn't one person. It wasn't one group. It's the entire community as a whole. I say it takes a village. Let's run through a few things that we did to get here. Do school fairs, science fairs, typically every year. This one's the Marker School Science Fair. We have participation from both entities of Public Works, as well as Fire Department, and many different agencies within the community itself. We've got a number of beautification projects that Public Works has been working on, specifically in our central business district, but all around town. And you'll notice some of the things we talked about in the previous committee meeting with detention basin, reconstruction. A lot of those areas will be very beneficial environmentally as proposed. Some of these are monarch way stations. They're better than what they were, giving those monarchs something to feed on, something to lay their eggs on, and something to help them in their migration. That was a good, it's a benefit towards our monarch resolution that we passed a few years ago, or I should say you passed a few years ago. Conservation Foundation's helped us out with a few of these. We've taken areas that have been just kind of ugly, lawns, weedy, not really taken care of, made beautiful areas that are beneficial to all kinds of local pollinators. Our Arbor Day plantings. Arbor Day, we do a lot of different things around the beginning of the year with the students. We do school plantings. Tree seedling giveaway, another big one. Tree tagging, the Arboretum sponsors that one, but local volunteers will come through every year and tag a bunch of our trees, just bring knowledge to the value of those trees. Art and essay contest. We also do different recycling, giving the residents options. These are in our in the commuter lot. just giving them the option to recycle where there was no recycling option before. We have River Sweep. I know a few of you members have helped us with that in the past, and we appreciate that, but also volunteers within the community. Storm drain stenciling is the same. A lot of volunteer help with that. The Westmont Public Works tree planting program, it's been very extensive as of late. You go down into a number of these subdivisions with the loss of ash, we've actually created kind of our own arboretum. We have so much diversity now, which is great, and it's going to make us more sustainable in the future. Our tree and landscape ordinance has been beefed up, obviously with the heritage tree ordinance. Thank you for your blessing on that. Our heritage trees. Westmont High School Beautification Day. We had a handful of EIC volunteers help out with that. There was native plantings around the front of the school. Local Girl and Boy Scout troops. We put up a couple bat houses with your blessings as well. And the Eagle Scout project at Richmond Gardens project. EIC does a lot of education for the community at the street fair. This was Dark Skies. We did Richmond Education Gardens. Our RB is in the audience, by the way. Richmond Education Gardens itself. We have the apiary there. This was the groundbreaking. We just had the Monarch Festival. I've seen a few faces out at that one through the Westmont Public Library up at Ty Warner. We did October last year. I intend to do it again this year. That was sponsored by Possibility Place Nursery. So it's always nice to have free trees and you can develop them at schools or how we can work that out. The first one was the junior high school. These last two are the Westmont Senior High. Westmont Police Department drug take back. Be amazed how much of that would end up in the waste stream. Mm-hmm. So it's a great environmental initiative as well. More public education, so our EIC speaker series. We've been getting a lot of feedback from that, and a lot of participation with that as well. Publicity. Our communications department does a great job getting a lot of this out, getting that information to the residents themselves. Document shredding, it's another good one. It's not going into the waste stream, it's being recycled, and it's a security issue as well. Pumpkin smashing, pumpkin composting, all things that are coming up soon. And I know you don't want to think about it, but winter operations are coming up soon too. So a lot of our new tactics to fight the snow and ice are better environmentally and actually helps the safety aspect of things as well. Some of the other things that I didn't picture here were the Monarch Resolution, rain barrel program, native tree and shrub sale, holiday lights recycling. I mean, the list goes on and on. So there's a lot of different things that are going on in the community. And again, it's not just one person or group. It's a community as a whole. Like I said, it takes a village. And this, the achievement of this Earth flag couldn't have been done without, obviously, the staff that works here at the village, but also the volunteers and the residents within the community. It also could not have been done without your support. So thank you for that. And with that, I'm going to introduce Kay McKean from Scarce to talk about the Earth flag. I know I went through that fast because I'm on a time crunch, but I'll share that document with you, everybody. And if you have a couple extra minutes, look through the pictures and enjoy. Okay?
Wow, that's a lot of work you guys have been doing, right? Steve, how far back do we go?
A ways.
Away. No, Larry, we decided it's about over 20 years, right? So my name is Kay McKean, and I am the founder of Scarce, and it's so nice to see your PowerPoint. The Holiday Light Program, I think we started 10 years ago now here in DuPage County. It is spread in many, many states. It's all over our state for sure. We're over half a million pounds of holiday lights collected just in DuPage County, so that's a lot of copper and waste reduced from the landfill. I used to come to your environmental commission meetings. Susan Moody, was that her name? Do you guys remember some of those names? Mooney? Yeah, right? So yeah, I used to come to all those. So you guys have been doing a lot of work for a long time, and I just love the little town of Westmont. It's a great place to be. So our program for the Earth Flag program, award is funded through DuPage County. So we are really thrilled that Liz Chaplin, who's chairman of the environmental committee for the county, is here, and Julie Renahan is here as district, is this 3? 2 and 3, okay. So we have a lot of people to tell you thank you, but Larry, many years, thank you. Stephen May, thank you. We came, Aaron and I, and did a staff meeting for the whole staff. That was one of the steps to earn the Earth flag so that everybody's on the same page. The pumpkin smash, we just got a call from Georgia this week, the state of Georgia. And Newton, Massachusetts is all signed up, so it's something that started right here in DuPage County, and it's just going nationwide. So it's great to see these initiatives take hold in communities right here, and like you said, benefit the nature, right, the environment, our pollinators, so super important. One year Scarce had some extra trees, and Aaron says, well, let's call Westmont, let's call John. We called you, and he was there that fast to pick up those trees and get them in your village, so you guys are lucky to have him on your team for sure. So we are really glad to be here. Congratulations. I'm going to introduce Liz first.
Hi, thanks everyone. Thank you, Mayor, for having us tonight. It's really wonderful to be here. Out of the 27 municipalities in DuPage County, Westmont is the 7th to receive the Earth flag. So that's a really great accomplishment. It's really huge, and it's not an easy task. And I understand there was a little competition between you and Clarendon Hills, and you guys beat Clarendon Hills. You know, all your work with your Monarch resolution, the county, you beat us to that. We just passed a Monarch resolution this last spring, so you're ahead of us on that. Your planting trees program is great. The medical syringe program, is that what or your medical taking in medicines is great, drugs. So you guys are really doing a great job here, especially with, you know, our climate right now, crisis that we're having. So you really keep up the good work, and we're really proud and happy to be here. Julie, you want to come up and read the resolution?
Yes. And I would say you guys do have syringe program through your police department, which you all, thank you for doing that, because you're one of the few villages that offers that for your residents, and the syringe disposal issue is a big, big problem in our whole state. So we've been working on legislation for this year to come up this next session. So thank you for being a leader in that as well.
Again, my name is Julie Renahan. I am a DuPage County Board member in District 3. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Mayor and Village of Westmont. Great job. And I also give a special commendation to your communications department, because I have had a lot of fun watching you on social media as these things get posted. Without further ado, the resolution of commendation to the Village of Westmont is signed by our DuPage County Board Chairman Cronin. Whereas DuPage County adopted the DuPage County Solid Waste Management Plan, which includes environmental education activities and leadership in recycling. And whereas the Village of Westmont employees completed environmental education training to gain sustainability expertise. Whereas Westmont has engaged their employees on the importance of sustainability and shared with them techniques to conserve natural resources. Whereas Westmont has implemented many significant sustainable practices, including maintaining a robust recycling and waste reduction program. Whereas Westmont has furthered its sustainability efforts by committing to green cleaning, installing green infrastructure, and eliminating unnecessary idling and utilizing eco-friendly de-icing products and techniques. Whereas Westmont has signed on as a Cool DuPage partner and has completed a multitude of energy efficiency improvements throughout its operations and buildings. Whereas the DuPage County Board recognizes the Village of Westmont for its leadership in reducing the impact on the environment and has thereby earned their Earth flag as a symbol of their accomplishments. Whereas the DuPage County Board finds the Village of Westmont is a valuable member of DuPage County and their efforts have improved the quality of life in DuPage County. Now, therefore, it is resolved that the DuPage County Board members and chairman has commended the Village of Westmont for their exemplary efforts and sustainability accomplishments.
So you guys, Erin Kennedy is on the Scarce team, and she was on your environmental commission for a couple of years.
So I'd just like to say congratulations. I called Westmont home for about 7 years. I served on the Environmental Commission for 3 years. And it's just a proud day to see all you guys have done and all you've worked for. So congratulations.
Yep. Well, and Bruce and Steve and Larry, yep. Larry, can somebody else take the picture? Come on, you've been such a big part of this for so many years. Are you the bee? I'm coming up. Come on, bee.
Bring the beer.
Yeah, get the costume.
Use the bee. Come on, Larry, come on. All these years working together, come on, right? So, scooch in, Mr. Tall Person, Mayor, come on over. You ready? Are we okay, Larry?
There's the flag.
So just a smidge about this flag, you guys. This is the first picture taken by humans with Apollo 8 on Christmas Eve in 1968. And we watched it in Northern Illinois in black and white TV. It's quite amazing. This is the place we share with everybody else. You can see the Suez Canal and so forth. This is the place where all the whales are. They're filling their tummies with plastic. This is really what we're about. This is who we're taking care of. And this is working together. This is our job. So this is the first picture taken of our planet by a human, not by a satellite. That's pretty amazing. So really, heartfelt thanks for your work. You're very You're very good. Really, isn't that like her? Yes, your staff is fabulous, yes.
Thanks.
Should be good. Yeah, we do. Okay, all right. Thanks, you guys, thanks very much.
Thank you.
See you
Thanks,
guys.
ladies. And I do have to add that our Environmental Improvement Commission, that Trustee Barry, when he first was elected, said his dad had that, and we need to bring it back, and then through Bruce's leadership and John being the expert, they've put in a lot of time, and we've got a lot of these programs going. So I want to thank the commission and our staff for all you've been doing. You have anything to add on that, Bruce?
You know, I'm very proud of, as you know, I'm very proud of that Environmental Improvement Committee. They really are on top of everything environmental, and I've learned a lot. And, you know, Jerry is in the back there. She was our bee volunteer. So she's not even a committee member yet, but she still comes to the meetings and is involved in all the projects. But what a great resident and a group of residents that volunteer their time. Like I said, no meeting is less than 90 minutes, right? But that's all, Mayor, thank you.
All right, thank you. I have another item. The Lions Club Oktoberfest 5K is next weekend, the 4th and the 5th, in downtown Westmont, right outside Village Hall. The Running for the Cause 5K will be on Saturday, October the 5th. Food, music, car show, craft and art show, and health fair. I'm sure Trustee Addington, when he gets his report, may add to that. Tonight, Trustee Guzzo is out of town, so I'm going to give her report for Public Safety Committee. She's the chair. The next meeting for Public Safety Committee will be November the 21st at 4:30 right here at Village Hall. The police department, we heard this just a minute or two ago about the drug take-back. And we're having another drug take-back on October the 26th from 10 to 2 at Mariano's and at the police station. Fire department. I think this, I'll ask Chief to come up. There's 3 different items: the car fit safety program, silent parade, and then the open house.
Thank you, Mayor. So yes, this Saturday is the Car Fit Safety Clinic located at our headquarters firehouse, 6015 South Cass, from 8 in the morning till 10:30. This clinic helps the residents, the seniors, ensure that they're properly fitted into their vehicles, their seat belts are properly fastened, checking the belts and fluids and everything that goes along with their car. So each year we've had this program, and we have about 56 seniors that come through the firehouse. It's all done through DuPage County and the Car Fit Safety Clinic. Next item, Mayor, is the Fire Department Silent Parade, which is Friday night, October 11th, starting in Hinsdale at 7 p.m. It goes along Chicago Avenue, Naperville Road, Maple, into Lyle, down to the Trinity Church. It's the 25th anniversary this year. This is ran by Marcia Giesler through the Village of Downers Grove and the Downers Grove Fire Department. She likes to keep this program going. So the way you can honor the fallen firefighters is to be out on one of those routes with your flashlights to honor those that have perished. And lastly, Mayor, the Fire Department Open House this year, Saturday, October 12th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. This year, new will be serving hot dogs, hamburgers, chips. We'll have demos of what the firefighters do on a daily basis, games, bounce house, and at the end, which is the most popular, is the side-by-side cell burn. This will be the last year we can do the cell burn because we're putting a fueling station on that property. So,
And again, it's at the Frank Johannick.
that's at the Frank
Station.
Johannick facility, again, 6015 South Cass, October 12th, 11 to 3. So we encourage the public to come out and see what the fire department does. And a new thing will be this year is a large touch-a-truck event out front, along with the village staff, DuPage County Sheriff, the bomb squad, and a K-9 dog presentation at 12:30.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor.
That's all I have. I'll turn to Clerk Simsky.
I just want to remind everybody that they can still get a scarecrow to do, for the decorating. You can sign up through the Chamber of Commerce. So please notify them. The more scarecrows that are out there decorated, the cuter the town looks. So everybody get out and do that. And our village offices will be closed on Columbus Day, October 14th, for staff in service. And that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I'll move on to Trustee Addington.
Thank you, Mayor. Couple of things. Let's continue on with talking about the new event that's going to be held October 4th and 5th. That's Friday evening. It'll start, I think, at 4 o'clock, which will include some music, and there'll be some Oktoberfest food, as well as some other things, and there'll be a beer tent, so a little bit of fun. Then Saturday morning, there's going to be a 5K run. There's also going to be a car show. There's some art exhibitors that are coming. But then that day also, we're going to be bringing in two things. We're bringing in the Lions of Illinois Foundation hearing bus so that people who think they might have a problem can have their hearing screened for free. And the other thing, we're bringing in a special camera that our district has purchased. This camera takes an immediate picture of your eyes and is attached to a computer which will do an immediate analysis. And the Run for a Cause was something that came up as an idea from one of our newer members in our club, Dan. And Lion Dan is doing this because he has a family member who has a terrible diabetic problem. And so he wants to dedicate this event towards diabetes. And of course, one of the things that this camera will do, if it sees a degeneration, diabetes affects the small blood vessels in your eyes because they're so tiny. And when they start to go, your eyes start to go. So this again is a free screening with this camera that will detect if they see any problems, and it's a screening, it's free. It tells you that maybe you should move on to a professional for more scientific testing, but at least it gets you a start. And then after the 5K run and the other things, and again, there'll be more music Saturday afternoon and evening, along with the food and the beer, and we hope people will come out. It'll be right here in front of Village Hall, and we're looking for it to be a kind of a fun, new event for the Lions Club, and we hope that it's successful, and we think it will be. And then 2 weeks after that, again, will be our annual Candy Day, and that's where the Lions get out on the street and solicit donations. We'll be doing our normal rolls of mints, but we also this year have sugar-free suckers. And we'll be at the train station, we'll be at street corners. We'll be in front of some of the stores in town. And that's probably the biggest fundraiser of the Lions of Illinois Foundation statewide. And it supports a lot of projects, including kids who go to camp, both hearing impaired and sight impaired kids, as well as some adults. And then low vision screening and a bunch of other things. So, and then the things that we do locally, like supply glasses and hearing aids for local residents and school children. So that'll be coming up on the 18th and 19th. And so that brings you up to date on what the Lions are doing. And the other thing I have, and I think Harold was going to talk a little bit about this too, is last Tuesday, they had an open house at Westview Hills Middle School. I think everyone knows there was a big referendum passed a little over a year ago for Marker School System to redo their schools. And so we got to see Westview Hills Tuesday night, and they did a phenomenal job. The school looks real nice, and unfortunately, we can't get to go see one of the other schools that had a lot of work done to it, which is Holmes, because that happens to be going on right now, as a matter of fact, at 6:30. So, but congratulations to them. I like what I saw. And the final thing I have is, I'm just going to touch on it briefly, because we'll be talking about more of it a little bit later on when we get into some of the referendum that's on the agenda. But Mayors and Managers was Tuesday night. And of course, the big thing for mayors and managers right now is the fact that the last week in October, and I think the first week in November, is going to be the veto session for the state legislature. And what we're hearing is that there are going to be several cleanup bills on this cannabis marijuana, recreational marijuana legislation. There are a whole bunch of unanswered questions. And most of them center around enforcement and how does our police department, and what kind of training and what's the training going to cost to get those people trained into what has to be done. There's still a lot of concerns out there, but this law has passed and it goes into effect on January 1st, I believe, of next year. So that law is already done, but I think there will be some cleanup that will help make this thing a little bit better for us to work with. But that was it. And then the other thing that came up during Mayors and Managers is the fact that we are going to have a coffee break with the legislators on October 18th at the conference offices in Oak Brook. So I would look at that. And then there are two bills that definitely are going to come up during legislative session. One is House Bill 3885 and House Bill 3888. They both deal with the ethylene oxide issue, which, of course, if anybody has not read about that, this is the Sterigenics operation over in Willowbrook, and the stuff that's being emitted into the air that has caused some cancer problems and a lot of concerns. One bill basically kills this kind of a facility in any community that is a home rule community. The other bill also wants to kill it, but is allowing time for these places to be relocated. Mayors and managers voted to support both those efforts and see what happens during the veto session, but we're pretty sure both of them are going to be discussed and will come out. So other than that, I've put a memo together, which I'll have on your desk. And then the other item, which is talking about the hotel motel tax, will segregate out. And that's it, sir.
Well, thank you.
Oh, other than,
I knew it.
I've got the public, my committee, which is community development, will be at the next meeting, October the 10th, at 4:30 here.
Thank you. Trustee Baird.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We had the chamber open house last week at the Westmont Police Department, and I did try the sugar-free suckers. They're darn good from the Lions Club. They were handing those out there. So it was well-attended, and it was great to see a lot of residents and fellow business people throughout the community, and the chamber hosted that event. Our next Economic Development Committee meeting will be October 2nd, and this meeting is going to be at 4:30 at the FMC Natatorium. We normally meet here at the Village Hall, but this is going to be a tour of the natatorium, and again, October 2nd at 4:30. So we encourage everyone, a very exciting time to see the status of the natatorium. And at our September 4th EDC meeting, we had a proposed project for Westview South and North. This is along Cass and 61st. So they're currently working with staff on some density revisions, and we're hoping to see that project continue along. Marker School District, as Jim had commented, they had their ribbon cutting at Westview Hills. A couple of us had attended there, and I have an overhead here to highlight a couple of the things that went on there. Again, as Jim had mentioned, the referendum, we saw a lot of these things about the old band room, the lack of cafeteria separation, and then the home ec rooms were actually the original stoves and everything from when they were originally built, and now today this is preparing the kids that want to get in culinary schools and so forth. They have state-of-the-art cooking facility there, and overall a brand new school. I know those of us that attended Jenny, Jim, it really is an improvement to the whole community. We know from developers and so forth that the very first thing that's looked at is our school systems. And this is really the artery to our town. And we hear so many things going on at 201. Well, it's great to hear all these positives at Marker now. So that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee,
And one item, I just wanted to clarify, the Economic Development Committee, is on that afternoon, but the tour is confined to the committee and the village board in there, so it's not
I
a
didn't
public
invite the
tour.
public this time.
Yeah.
I was just clarifying where we were meeting, but yes.
right.
Next meeting, we want the public to come.
Yes.
Okay.
thank you. Trustee Barker.
Thank you, Mayor. Westmont First is going to meet on October 21st at the library at 6 p.m. We had the privilege to have a census training meeting this past Monday with the folks from the census, and there are a number of press releases that are going to go out related to that. And all we could say is, over and over again, we learned the value of having everybody in the community counted and what it means to our residents here, whether they live in an apartment or even if they're homeless and they live in the community, is to have them counted so that we get the services we deserve. It's really, if you're not counted, we're leaving money on the table. And, we all know that, but we've got to get that message across. Jenny is coordinating our efforts with the census, and I would ask if you have folks that can help us with that, because if you were through this 10 years ago, it's a big job. And if there are people that will be instrumental in helping us get the word out and getting that work done, direct those names to her, and we're compiling that list and moving forward with that. But very important that we have a complete count in 2020. We're going to deal with the Arts to Page proclamation later on, so I'll move into the Environmental Improvement Committee. Great night as we just received the Earth flag, thanks to a lot of work from that group. And there's also a native tree and shrub sale going on. Currently, tomorrow's your last day to place an order. That's all online. And then we have the Halloween lights recycling coming up on Saturday, October 19th, between 11 and 2. You can drop those off with the EIC at the Wicked West Fest. And there's a number of people that are now using lights for various things, but Halloween is becoming very popular. And now we have a place to put those lights when they don't work anymore. And then we have pumpkin composting, and we're bringing out the bulb smasher, which is almost as exciting. We'll have a place for people to bring their light bulbs at the library, and we will again recycle light bulbs on behalf of the environment. That is all.
Well, thank you. Trustee Little.
Thank you, Mayor. The next Administration Finance Committee meeting will be here in Village Hall at 4:30 on October 24th. So it's a change from the regular routine, but we're going to make it work, and that's fine. The next item I have is the Wicked West Fest, which will be Saturday, October 19th, from 10:30 to 2 in downtown Westmont. We close Cass Avenue, and we have a costume contest. We have trick-or-treating, the pumpkin smashing, we have casket races. We have a whole lot of everything going on that day, so definitely visit westmontchamber.com for additional details. Then the Westmont Pet Promenade date. It's the 8th annual Westmont Pet Promenade was rescheduled due to weather, and the new date is being finalized with the committee this week. So stay tuned for that one. It's been rained out twice, and we're going to try one more time, I think. So hang in there, people. It's coming. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Well, thank you. Trustee Nero.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few things. Tonight, we had a Public Works Committee meeting, so I just wanted to recap a few of the highlights from that. Are we going to be going over, Jamie, right? The word level?
It's on the agenda.
It's on the consent agenda, you can cover it
All right,
now.
well, just to highlight, we honored former employee that passed, Jimmy Wright, and I think that's the least we could do for the guy he was to Westmont, and it was an honor to see his wife and mother here, and they named his 200 North Park in honorary after him, which was great, and we'll get into more of it later, I think. But awesome thing to do for a great Westmont guy, I think we all could agree on. Next, kind of a cool thing that our Public Works Director Ramsey has been working on for a while, the Westmont High School Operator and Training Program. We've had 3 students that have gone through it, and I believe 2 or 3 are taking the EPA test or have taken it, and he's waiting daily for the results to be actual licensed EPA water operators. 1 is still in high school, and just an awesome program I think the Public Works team is working on above and beyond to help kids go a different path than maybe some other avenue they would have. And I got a sneaky suspicion they're going to get a good paying job, as long as they pass that test. But under Mike's leadership, I'm sure they will, Mayor. Let's see, so some big project updates. Sidewalks, obviously very important. Cumner on 61st, where I used to live, finally from Cumner to Fairview has been completed, the sidewalks. I know those residents are very happy. We replaced about 150 feet of sidewalks in Newfield Manor. And the board also asked staff to look into improving some unconnected areas for kids and folks to walk through, some sidewalks and streets that just kind of are dead-ended. So more to come on that. Let's see, some ditching work. As always, ditching is very important to us here, associated with stormwater and making sure that the water flows the way it should. So our staff gave us an update on what we've done and what we continue to do. Some big project updates, 63rd and Richmond. We can expect construction on that, which is a big stormwater detention, wet basin that will be completely redone and restructured, which is a big improvement for the area. And 61st and Cumner as well. We found out we have to do a little bit more engineering work, but we expect that to be underway in 2020 as well. LEC, which is Cass and Lincoln and Naperville to Norfolk, contract was awarded, in fact, just signed earlier today, so we expect that to start as soon as NICOR's done, mid to late October. Let's see, some facility LED improvements. We did find out, it's kind of been a long-winded project, but it's just kind of amazing to hear between Village Hall, Police Department, Fire Department, all the village facilities, how much ComEd has paid at that. So it's great to see the village take advantage of those grant funds and give us some lighting that improves our lighting, don't have to change the bulbs. Great thing to do, and obviously good in the spirit of green and environmental friendly, just another thing that Westmont does. And I believe that's about it, sir, on the big items, but all good stuff. And our next meeting will be December 19th at 4:30 p.m. right here at Village Hall. And last and not least, in the absence of Trustee Guzzo, the Knights of Columbus is having a reverse raffle October 11th at the Knights Hall. If anyone's interested in getting a ticket, you can see me or ask Trustee Guzzo as well. And that's all I have, sir.
Well, thank you. Before we move on the agenda, it's been my practice that if anybody shows up late, I'll give an opportunity to speak under the open forum, since we do start at 6 o'clock. And I have a open forum request, so I'm opening it back up from John Griffin. and you want to come up to the podium. He's at 222 East Quincy Street in Westmont, and he has a question.
Sorry, I just came right from work. I was just trying to find out why you guys deemed the storage containers as a nuisance.
They've never been allowed in the village. We've got definitions and regulations of accessory structures and what constitutes a structure or a building. And accessory structures are in fact prohibited in a lot of the business districts. And suddenly the village has seen a proliferation of storage containers in town. They're deemed unsafe because they're not secured to the ground. They don't have ventilation. The village doesn't know what's going in there. Sometimes it can be an accessory business in maybe for a residential use that the village doesn't want. So it has stepped up enforcement, but it's always been something on the books that is prohibited. The village amended its nuisance code to be more clear that they are in fact prohibited and a nuisance.
Well, according to the code, where did it, because I have the whole code here, until the nuisance, until, I think it's section 17, I don't see a clear indication that they were definitely not allowed up until this was.
It was provisions in the zoning ordinance, but it's probably something that's best discussed with the community development department, because that's where they do the enforcement and where they regulate the zoning. And if you contact them, they could provide you more information.
I just feel, well, sorry, number one, the first thing it says, number 17, to place, cause, permit, or use a cargo container, aka shipping container, on any private or public property except for public property owned and used by a unit of local government. What holds you guys to a different standard than the people of Westmont?
It's not uncommon in villages to carve out exceptions for various items, and Village Public Works has had them and determined it's a way to save the taxpayers some money, so decided to build in that exception.
Okay. Well, I feel like so we have a landscaping business. I have 2 renters in there. They've been there for multiple years. We've had storage containers on our property. Number one, we've had a break-in last winter, and items were stolen from the yard. Now, thank God they didn't steal things that would have been in the container because they were kept safe. My specific property, because it is along the tracks, it is zoned R5 for some silly reason. Now it's trying to be rezoned again, which doesn't make sense to me because they basically are rezoning it because next door is doing whatever they want. In fact, I tried to buy that property. They said I couldn't buy it because you can't have it for landscape use. So what happens? The village buys it for landscape use and paid a lot more money than they probably should have, which is our taxpayer dollars. So I'm a little perturbed about these things. Now I have 2 renters in there. They're going to leave me if I don't get some sort of solution to this. And I think, sorry. Thank you.
I'm letting them go along.
I think I'm not the only, that's fine. Okay. I'm pretty confident I'm not the only business in Westmont that is not happy about this ruling. And I find that you will see, if you don't give this another thought about this, you will see we take all the stuff out of the storage containers and it's exposed to the air. It's going to be more unsightly, more unsafe than, maybe creating some sort of rules and regulations to having these things. There's no difference between a storage container and what are the regulations on a dumpster. They're unsightly. They could be on unlevel ground. Who knows what people are throwing in them, You have a house built on 55th right now that is partially storage containers. It's part of the structure. Who's to say that that's any different than a regular storage container? I mean, there's got to be a little bit more precise guidelines here, and I think it's unfortunate that, we are falling into this is becoming an issue for us, but we have an issue with security. We can't even put a shed. I can't amend my property at all. So how are we supposed to have any sort of security with our equipment? I can't drive, lawnmowers and stuff up into the house. It's just impossible. So I think this should be basically relooked at, because I know I've been approached by multiple businesses already about this situation. I'm not sure if any of them are here tonight, but they've been asking me what is my feeling on this, because they're very upset about it too. Some of them have been in the village for years, and you can't even see their village container on their property, basically. So I don't know why this became such an issue, but I really don't find it to be. I find if you take them, if you guys enforce this and you don't turn it around, you'll find that it'll make Westmont a worse place. You'll see all the junk that people are trying to store away and make things look nice. You know, maybe there needs to be different, like, paint them or make them, keep them up to a certain code. I don't mind having the fire department look at mine. I won't be too more long-winded, but I just feel like there needs to be a second look at this, because I don't think, if it's about being unsightly or being unsafe, I mean, I don't see how they're really unsafe.
Mr. Griffin, and this is just for your information, you know, tonight it's not an agenda item, so there is no capacity to discuss the merits.
Sure.
But there will, in 2 weeks.
4:30, yeah.
Is the Community Development Committee is where that will be an agenda item, and it's the next update for the village board. So that's the best opportunity to debate the merits or the
Yes.
pros and cons, but
Staff.
we can only just take
I'm
your
sorry.
comments.
I don't want to waste your time. Yeah, you know what? They
it's not a
told me
waste
to
of
come in
time,
tonight.
but-
I'm sorry.
No,
All right,
that, you
that's all I
have
got.
a right during open forum, and I kind of let you stretch it a little bit.
Sorry.
Because you're on a roll, that's all right.
And
But
John,
ju-
I'll talk to the head of community development, and we'll be sure that there'll be time for you, if you can get here by 4:30 on the 10th. There'll be time for us to discuss this with you.
All right. Thank you.
Real quick, we're not supposed to comment on, but the garage that was purchased was the Park District, which is separate from the village, that bought the property next to you. And are those
Yes.
two businesses running on your property? You've got two?
I'm
Okay.
renting. Yes, the two other businesses.
Okay. Well, thank you. Hopefully you can come on the
10th.
10th.
I will be
Okay,
there.
thanks, John.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Moving on. Items to be removed from the consent agenda. Trustee Addington.
Yeah, item number I, which is the resolution about the county tourism tax. We have some folks here who would like to address that issue, so I'm asking that that be removed from consent agenda and make it as a separate item so it can be discussed.
Okay. Anybody else?
Mayor, I'd like to take off item E, Proclamation Arts DuPage Foundation.
Any other item? Seeing none, that I'd ask Manager May to please read the rest of the consent agenda.
First on the consent agenda this evening are village board minutes. Board to consider approving the minutes of the village board meeting held September 12th, 2019. It's followed by finance ordinance number 10 in the amount of $955,367.31. We have several purchase orders, first being Onyx Networking Corp., $44,100, represents annual costs for the Google G Suite and Chrome management licenses renewal. Next is Tactical Security and Training Solutions, $22,966 for ballistic vests. It's followed by Don Morris Architect, $43,449.36, which is the August Building and Zoning Reviews fees, and those are also recaptured through permit fees. Next purchase order, RMC Incorporated, $163,875 is the HVAC roof tap units and controllers for the Village Hall that you heard about at Public Works Committee earlier. Next, Amalgamated Bank of Chicago, $334,913.19 is bond debt service payments for both the 2019A and 2019B series. Last purchase order is Napleton Fleet, $30,316 is a vehicle replacement in the Detective Division. The total of those purchase orders is $639,619.55. That brings the total of the purchase orders and finance ordinance number 10 to $1,594,986.86. We have several proclamations into the two that were removed so that they could be itemized. First being Proclamation for Constitution Week. Board to consider a proclamation declaring September 17 through 23 of 2019 is Constitution Week in the Village of Westmont. Proclamation for Fire Prevention Week. Board to consider a proclamation to declare October 6 through 12 of 2019 as National Fire Prevention Week in the Village of Westmont. Next is a proclamation for National Cybersecurity Month. They get a whole month, it's not just a week for cybersecurity. Or to consider a proclamation declaring October 2019 as National Cybersecurity Month. The last resolution was board to consider a resolution for an honorary street designation, which is for James Wright, and that resolution was read in full. We processed it through the Public Works Committee. That was already covered at that end. The proclamation is here on the consent agenda, and I just showed a little while ago, I received a text message of the family out at the road sign that it's hanging up now, so I hope you approve it. That concludes the consent agenda.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve as read?
Motion by Addington to approve consent agenda. Second, Nero.
Motion been made and second to approve. On the question? Anybody? Seeing none, roll call.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes. Motion passes. Now we'll go back to the two items that were removed, the proclamation for the Arts DuPage Foundation. Board to consider a proclamation declaring October as Arts DuPage Month in the Village of Westmont. I turn this over to Trustee Barker.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to call up Maggie South, talk about the proclamation. Read that for us.
Thank you, Trustee Barker. This is a proclamation celebrating October as Arts DuPage Month in the Village of Westmont. Whereas the arts, culture, and humanities are the embodiment of all things beautiful and entertaining in the world, the enduring record of human achievement, and whereas the arts, culture, and humanities enhance every aspect of life in the Village of Westmont, improving our economy, enriching our civic life, driving tourism, and exerting a profound positive influence on the education of our children. And whereas arts education research shows that the arts help to foster discipline, creativity, imagination, self-expression, and problem-solving skills, while also helping to develop a heightened appreciation of beauty and cross-cultural understanding. And whereas we use the humanities, history, literature, and philosophy to explore what it means to be human. And whereas the arts, culture, and humanities play a unique and intrinsically valuable role in the lives of our families in our county, and whereas the Village of Westmont has embraced local artists by creating a community arts initiative, which includes new events to showcase and promote artists and their work, and whereas the month of October has been recognized as Arts DuPage Month by Arts DuPage and the arts and cultural organizations in all the communities within DuPage County. Therefore, Ronald J. Gunter, Mayor of the Village of Westmont, does hereby proclaim October 2019 as Westmont Arts DuPage Month and calls upon all citizens to celebrate and promote the arts and culture in DuPage County.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Little?
Second, Barry.
Motion made and second to approve. Any additional comments? Trustee Barker.
Yeah, I would like to comment, it's thanks to a number of folks to, create this art initiative, and then we actually had Arts DuPage come out and talk to us, and we asked their advice on many things, so there's a lot of great support there, and we're honored to have that. But, Maggie's doing some great work for us, and Larry McIntyre over there with the phone. He's behind the scenes a lot, but he's doing some great work on behalf of the arts in this community. And when Harold comes and he brings an image of butterflies on a metal shed that you can't get rid of in your town about beautifying the community, it's having an impact. So we're doing great things.
Good, thank you. Seeing no other comments, I'd ask for a roll call, please.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Well, last item that was removed, resolution supporting county tourism tax. Board to consider a resolution to support the DuPage Convention and Visitors Bureau, the DCVB, hotel assessment through state legislation for tourism and economic development. I turn to Trustee Addington.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to introduce Larry Forsberg from our own Tourism Bureau, who's going to take the lead on this one.
Thank you, Trustee Harrington. Good evening, Board. This evening, I'm not only here standing wearing my Chamber of Commerce hat or my Economic Development hat, but I also have the pleasure of serving as the chairman of the DuPage Convention and Visitors Bureau. As you all know, as board members, tourism and our hotel business is a key part of our economic engine in this community. And we are at a critical crossroads when it comes to tourism in DuPage. So we want to take a couple of moments just to give you a little bit more insight as to what this resolution is really all about. And I can't think of someone better to speak to this than our very own Nathan Karsten, who's Director of Sales and Marketing for the Hilton Hotel here in Westmont. So I'm going to turn the podium over to Nathan Karsten. Nathan?
Thank you, sir. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Thank you for the opportunity this evening. So, yes, I'm also part of the DuPage Convention Visitors Bureau Board and on the Legislative Committee to get this tax resolution passed. As many of you know, the City of Chicago is growing more hotels and more occupancy, but their demand is not growing, so the business that typically fell into the suburbs is now going to Chicago, leaving our hotels empty. Rosemont, as you know, is also being very aggressive, so if you've given to O'Hare, you now have a lot of entertainment and fun activities to do in Rosemont. It's not just hotels. You now have restaurants, entertainment, and fun things to do in Rosemont. So the perk there, though, is that Chicago and Rosemont have taxes on top of their hotel taxes as well as their taxi taxes that give them millions and millions of dollars that they use every year to bring business to Chicago. And to bring business to Chicago costs lots of money. In addition to Chicago, you have cities such as, well, states such as Michigan. So everybody in this room probably understands or has heard Pure Michigan. But who in this room has heard Do More and DuPage? So I'm not ever saying that Do More and DuPage is going to be as well known as Pure Michigan. We're not going to get Tim Allen for sure, but we do need to have money in our back pockets to bring the business to DuPage to fill our hotel guest rooms, to fill the restaurants, to fill the entertainment venues. And all that is tax revenue into your city as well. So we've been very successful so far, but we are missing millions of dollars as Chicago and Rosemont, the Northwestern Council also has about several million more than we get. And so we're just looking to do this increase. It's not going to affect the DuPage or the Westmont individuals, unless of course you spend the night at my hotel. But typically speaking, the guests coming to Westmont are who's going to get this tax. And it's going to go to the council, to the CVB, to spend to bring more people in to keep us full. Any questions, thoughts, no concerns?
Trustee Addington.
Yeah, just, as I think it's important that everybody understands where this thing is coming from. When I was the district governor for Lyons, for District 1J, we brought the district convention to the hotel here. And there's things that they can do for someone like the Lions Club, the Rotary Club, these other organizations, to make it, to maybe throw something in the pot to either bring the room cost down a little bit or other incentives in order to attract them to come to Westmont. And this is the real crux of this thing. If I'm going to go to O'Hare, if I'm going to leave O'Hare Field, if I took a flight someplace and I call Uber or I get a local transportation company to bring me home, there is a tax now on my trip. That money goes to Chicago and Rosemont. I don't see any benefit of that, but I'm paying for it as a user. And so all the hotels here in DuPage are saying is, we have things here that are attractive to these people. One of them that's going to be finished hopefully by next year is the natatorium. When the presentation was made at Legislative Committee Tuesday morning, the natatorium must have been mentioned 5 or 6 times. There is at least one large meet that's already in the process of being worked on there for this synchronized swimming. It would be the place that all these synchronized swimmers would go through if they want to qualify to go to the Olympics. Oh my goodness gracious, how many hotel rooms, how many restaurants, think of what that does. That's what this tax is gonna help with, that incentive that you and I don't pay for. That's gonna come out of the people who stay in these rooms to allow the county to enact a couple of % tax that's gonna allow us to raise a couple $1 million, and when the chances are for us in DuPage or for us in Westmont to attract this kind of a venue, they've got some money to be able to do an incentive. And don't think that organizations like the Rotary Club, like the Lions Club, like medical profession, like any of them, doesn't come saying, I want to come to your hotel, now what are you going to do for me? It's the nature of the business. And Nathan is on the front line of that, and he says, okay, what can I do? How many meals, how many rooms? And then he decides what he can do to try to attract. Well, this gives him another tool that he's got in his pocket to be able to use if it's an event that makes sense. And we want to give him that tool. Is that a nice way to say it, or a best way to say it?
Perfect. So many of the larger programs that are going to come to that natatorium are going to have what they call the bid fee. It's going to cost, the organization is going to expect the community or the organization to put upfront a dollar value to host these events.
Right.
So the bowling event that was brought to DuPage was several tens of thousands of dollars, and this is going to help the DuPage have that coffer of money to offer for these incentives to secure that business to our area.
That's at that huge bowling alley in Addison, that's the
Addison,
Stardust,
right.
and yeah. And Addison doesn't have that many hotel rooms, so there's gonna be a spin-off
Spins does.
to all the communities around here, because that large venue is coming here. Same thing for the communities around us, if we have some of these large events at the natatorium. Oak Brook's gonna get a benefit, Willowbrook's gonna get a benefit, Downers is gonna get a benefit, because they're gonna stay at all those hotels.
And our other hotels. in
And our
town.
other hotels,
Right.
exactly.
Once
Everybody.
compression comes to the market, you'll see it throughout the county.
Yeah.
Whether it's BMW championship or anything of that caliber, those are the type of things. But we thought it was critical to give this added insight as to what we're talking about with this resolution. We not only ask for your support tonight, but we ask for your support as you're talking to your fellow representatives from other communities, because this is really a county-wide approach. We're not talking about creating silos around the county. We're talking about a county-wide approach that gives us the most efficient, effective way to bring tourism to DuPage. So we appreciate your help and support. And anything else you'd like to add?
Thank you.
The resolution is what starts it, and so that's what we want to do, is get that passed. Lombard's already passed it, and I think there's some other communities that are working on also, and hopefully we could get some traction. Probably won't get any traction at the veto session. It's probably something that's going to come up springtime.
Well, I do need a motion to pass.
I will be honored to make that motion, Mr. Mayor, sir.
Second, Nero. Motion been made and second to approve the resolution. Any other comments?
Just, thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
And great job. Larry being involved at the county level only helps our economic team to attract businesses, and thank you very much for the participation. No, but-
And I attended the annual meeting, and he does an absolute outstanding job representing Westmont and the county. I'd ask for a roll call, please.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Thank you.
Thank you guys very
Have a
much.
good evening, guys.
Thanks. We will move on to our new business, liquor license fee waiver, or to consider approving a Class 11 special event liquor license fee waiver for the Taipei Economic and Cultural Office in Chicago at Ty Warner Park. And I've got my Deputy Liquor Commissioner, Mulhern, to talk additional information.
Good evening, Mayor and Village Board. The Culture Center of Taipei Economic and Cultural Office in Chicago applied for a Class 11 special event liquor license for their event in Tai Park on August 25th, 2019. They've also requested a waiver of the $100 license fee for that liquor license. The TACCGC is a non-for-profit agency. This event is an annual event in Tai Park and draws many visitors to our community. I've attended along with other members of the board and the mayor to this event in the past and again this year. Approximately 100 and probably to 150 people were there. It's an event that draws people to Westmont, also part of our Sister City program. The Economic Council is seeming to be making Westmont a target for its members. They're having a golf outing at the Oprah Hills. They have this event, as well as their cultural center down on 63rd Street.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve Addington.
Second, Barry.
Motion made in second. Any additional comments? Anybody? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business B, increase of available massage establishment license. Board to consider an ordinance increasing the number of available massage establishment license by one for Inner Light Transformations, 6420 South Cass Avenue. And I've got Deputy Liquor Commissioner Mulhern.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, Inner Light Transformations has applied for a massage establishment license. A report has been forwarded to the village manager and to the board for his recommendation. My background has not identified any reasons to deny this application. This business will also offer yoga services as well as a massage and other related therapies. Standing with me here is the owner of Inner Light Transformations and the sole employee and owner, Kelly Dacey. Kelly, as you saw in the background report, Kelly does have significant ties to our community. Your father was a coach at the basketball coach?
Football.
Football.
Baseball,
Okay, for the Westmont High School. So she's been a Westmont resident for a long time. She has her license. Her license is valid. She will tell you more about her license, but it's in the Harbor Mall at Harbor Piers Drive and Cass Avenue. And if you also notice too, there, as Kelly brought to my attention, there is already a Serenity Suites, which is a massage establishment right there. They have endorsed her and sent a letter of encouragement saying that they would be proud or happy to have her right next to them. So there's no conflict with that respect. So I will turn it over to Kelly Dacey to have her explain to you what she plans to do with Inner Light Transformations. You're welcome.
I was told to keep this brief.
Pull it, Tom's short, pull it up there.
I have a really loud voice. Do I really need the microphone? So my name is Kelly Dacey, as Tom has introduced, and my studio is Inner Light Transformations. I have been granted the yoga permit, and I've been renting this space since August 5th, and my intention has solely been all along to bring what I've had out of state 14 years back home to Illinois and serve the community doing integrative body work. I have notoriously referred to myself over the years since 2003 as a health facilitator. I have a background in acupressure, ashiatsu, aromatherapy, and energy work from a young age of 15 years actually. Much of what I'd like to do is beyond body work for people with pain needs. I work with a lot of replacement post-operative patients and as well adolescents and their parents and seniors. So the studio is going to be by appointment only, and I will be planning to serve people as I've traditionally done, which is combine yoga one-on-ones. So my website explains that I do a yoga prescriptive therapy. So I'm really unique, and since I've been home 3 years, having had this practice out of state, and I've been working since my baby was 6 weeks of age. So I've never stopped my love. This is my duty in life, to serve people with my hands and my heart, and the skill set that I have of the anatomy and the physiology, the kinesiology, goes beyond that which doctors can help with pills. So my studio is going to be available basically for a wide variety of services, but again, by appointment only, offering one-on-one and small group yoga classes. Once a week, I'm going to be offering a after-school program for adolescents to come learn mindfulness meditation. So there's going to be a huge meditation focus. And my body work is, after 17 years of doing this, it's why I'm opening a yoga studio. I was certified in 2012. but there's transitions in life with the body as we continue, and healthy aging is a focus for me to continue serving people. So to find balance in myself, my life, and my job, I would like to teach more yoga at the same time serve my existing clients. So I'm excited to be part of the community as a business owner, and I thank you. If there's any questions, please ask them.
Business owner and resident, so she does reside in the community. And I need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve, Little.
Second, Nero.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve. Any additional comments? Anybody?
It's just nice to see that somebody recognizes that we're all here to serve and that you found your niche. That's great. I think that's a great thing.
Thank you. You know, my daughter's 3.5, and what I say about aloha is it's service from the heart. So she's learning Spanish, so servicio de corazón.
And have you met Larry Forsberg? Is he? Oh, you guys have talked, so he's the right person to see as far as ribbon cutting and anything you need from the chamber.
Well, thank you. November 2nd was in my mind the temporary opening date.
So, all right.
Have a board yoga class. Let's
Yeah.
go, Harold, out
There you go, yeah.
Well, she was looking at Trustee Addington quite a bit. So,
Straighten us up a little bit.
She says, no, that's a
So with
lost
your,
cause.
with your meditation training, is that like a TM? Is that what that would be?
It's not, I think that's trans
Trans meditation?
meditation. No, my background actually goes to learning from a very simple and pure foundation of meditation, which dates back to Herb Benson. Anybody hear of Herb Benson? Yeah. So Herb Benson saved my life when I was 15. I picked up a book at the bookstore, Power of the Maximum Mind, and that's all about active relaxation techniques. So people that have hyperactive minds or bodies that like to move and they have a hard time sitting still, we all have to teach what we've learned to help ourselves with. So my gift is being able to share what's helped me in my life. So my meditation tools are very wide and vast, from chanting to simply sitting. I mean, most of my work, to be honest, is with breath work. So,
do I have a roll call then to ask for?
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Motion passes, and welcome.
thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Moving on.
We'll get our mats ready.
New business C, increase of available tobacco license. Board to consider ordinance increasing the number of available Class B tobacco license by 1 for Westmont Management DBA Click Sports Bar and Grill, 6010 South Cass Avenue in Westmont. Deputy Liquor Commissioner Mulhern.
Thank you, Mayor. Click Sports Bar and Grill at 6010 South Cass has applied for a Class B tobacco license to sell tobacco as an amenity used for their business operations. And the Click, as you know, has already received a liquor license. The same background was used for the tobacco as used for the liquor. Mike, the owner, I don't know if he was notified of tonight's meeting. I believe he was. But he's also very busy opening a second restaurant at the same time, which he mentioned when he was here before. So he's asking for tobacco at his business and being a right to sell it. For most everyone is asking, when's he going to get going? When's he going to open? Looks like things are going well. I spoke to him last week, and he anticipated opening this week, but there has been no activity. So we don't know sure what the holdup on that is, but he is moving things along, and it should be soon.
Trustee Addington.
Yes, since he's not here, and maybe you can't answer it either, which might cause us to go in a little different direction, but what does he want to sell and how is he going to sell it?
When I was talking to him about his liquors things, one thing he mentioned was hookah events, which this all had to go through community development, make sure that they were fine with that. He had mentioned he was thinking of selling that there. Trustee Addington, I'll be honest with you, I don't know because I just did the background phase. I didn't do all much on the tobacco, what he was selling. And again, I thought he was going to be here this evening. Maybe we want to table it till he can come and describe it.
And I'll tell you why I asked the question. I think all of us have looked in the newspapers enough now and have seen enough that's written up about these e-cigarettes and the vaping and the flavored stuff
that we're gonna have to start addressing that. It's a serious, serious problem, especially the way it's affecting our young people, because it's addicting them. And I have no problem with them selling cigarettes because, you know, everybody does. But I really want to start restricting the other side of it.
I understand and I agree with your position, and again,
And
he
if
never
was
mentioned
willing
this to me, but
say, I won't, then, you know, I'm fine, I'll take a person at his word, because I think, John, you would probably caution us anyway that there's probably a lot we can't do at this point until we have more in the way of the state clamping down or the federal government clamping down, but.
And home rule power.
Yeah.
And home rule power, so, but at the same time, sooner or later, you gotta put your foot down.
Yeah.
And just say, you know, we can't stop it, but we don't have to let it spread.
And I think what's odd here, Tom, and maybe you can answer it, if he sells it, I don't believe there's anywhere on the property he can allow smoking, because his patio serves food. It's gotta be 20 feet beyond, or how,
in my conversation with him, he had talked about it would be out on the patio, and his patio is supposed to close at 10 o'clock. So I don't know if he was planning on having these hookahs outside on the patios outside. Again, this is when I was doing the liquor things, and again, thought he'd be here tonight.
yeah,
Why don't we table it?
pardon?
I think we
Why
should
don't we
have it.
table it?
I think we should postpone it, so I
If you
need
just
a-
raise another element that
Yes.
we don't have answers to. I'll make a motion to table until we can get him here.
I would imagine the next board meeting.
Second, Nero. Motion made and second to postpone. Any additional comment?
Probably 2 weeks would
Yeah.
postpone to October 10th.
And Tom, if you would pass on to him my comments, because like I said, I know that I'm probably in soft sand with where I want to go with this, but at the same time, if people will tell me they're not going to get involved with it, I'll take them at their word.
I share your concern, because it's better that we get it on the record and he knows. There was no mention of vaping, but that's not to say that he doesn't mention and go and do it.
That's right. Thank you.
Concern that it just kind of crossed my mind briefly is with the advent of the recreational marijuana, we don't know what his intentions are with that either.
No, that was not mentioned. I haven't, in any of the tobacco or the liquor places, I've never, or applicants, I've never asked that.
Can't smoke that publicly.
Yeah, you can't smoke
No, I
it.
know you can't, but does he know that?
But the other
Well, when
question
it
is,
comes to-
even the marijuana recreationally still can't be inside a building.
No, but if
Because it's
he's
still
selling
smoking.
cigarettes and you can't smoke them, he could be selling something else that you can't use.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he could do brownies for dessert, I guess.
And he's not gonna be a retail, because he's got alcohol in
Yeah.
it, so.
And I also plan at the beginning of the year, when this law takes to effect, sending all the liquor license businesses every friendly reminder, hey, they can't do this, so.
Right.
To address trustee Little's concern, they'll all get a quick reminder from the village saying
Yes.
that, what they can and can't do.
I'd
Well,
have a
again, I
roll-
know we'll have more discussion, but the state statute doesn't allow them to smoke outside, right? Like, you couldn't smoke in the beer garden part.
Talking about the recreational marijuana?
No,
Hookah or the,
Cigarettes.
the hookah or the
That's a good
cigarettes.
question, because usually an outdoor area is okay to smoke as long as you're 15 feet from the door and not serving food.
Yes,
But they serve food.
yes.
Well, I don't know if they'll be serving food out there, or if they'll cut it off at a certain hour and then just have it as a,
we put in a license restriction, he has to close the patio area at 10 o'clock. And in my conversation with him, he may even close that sooner, he's, looking at that. But yeah, he will end all service at the patio, food, beverage, everything at 10 o'clock.
But even if we don't award the tobacco license and he's not serving food, customers can go out and smoke after 10 o'clock.
Yes, as long as they're 15 feet away from any entrance.
Okay. All right. I need a roll call, please.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
That'll be postponed for 2 weeks.
I will see you then.
New business
Have a good
D.
night.
505 Blackhawk Drive, the final plat of subdivision. Board to consider an ordinance approving a final plat of subdivision for property located in the R3 Single Family Detached Residence District to subdivide one lot into 2 lots. And I'm either going to call on Manager May or our attorney.
I'll start with all these. The next 5 items are all community development related, and Mr. Sylvester's not available tonight. So this item at 505, the preliminary plat of subdivision was already approved on October 12th in 2017. And it was subject to final plat approval along with the variance to allow the creation of 2 lots with substandard widths, which received which received an extension on February 28th, 2019. So the final plat, they've worked out their stormwater management components, and the final plat is ready for approval. Staff recommends approval.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve Addington.
Second, Nero. Motion made second.
Just for those who might remember, this was was originally a yellow frame house that was knocked down and sold. There was substantial water sitting, again, similar to the discussion that we had earlier tonight with the folks from Washington Street. It's water that didn't sit where the house was, but it was in between the 2 streets in people's backyards. And so that's why I think there was some substantial discussions to get the stormwater to a point where I think we were comfortable that we were to eliminate some of that problem. Yeah. And I think discussion has taken a little bit longer, so I think it's been worked out, so I have no problem.
Any additional, anybody?
Just a question
Go
for
ahead, trustee
John.
Barry.
John, I was a no originally, so I just vote present today. Is that?
You can vote however you like, actually. Yeah.
Seeing none, other comments, I'd ask for roll call.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Present.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business E, 280 West 63rd Street. Special use for a top lift. Board to consider an ordinance approving a special use permit to allow A, machinery and equipment sale, and B, operation of an open sales lot. And I turn to
Well,
manager
this is the
May
old
again.
tire store.
Pardon?
This is the old tire store.
Gene's Tire.
Gene's Tire Store.
Mayor, the Planning and Zoning Commission considered this matter at a public hearing on September 11th, 2019, and unanimously recommended approval. Staff recommends approval as well.
Does anybody hear from? He's here. You can come up, introduce yourself, and you were going to say something.
You can go ahead.
My name is Ryan Schuer, and I'm the branch manager of the office in Westmont. Toplift Enterprises is a Canadian company that's going to be expanding to the U.S. We represent CVS Ferrari and Terberg Tractors, and we sell these machines to the rail yards and the ports. Very successful business in Canada. Have 5 branches up there. We'll do $100 million in business. And now we're expanding to the U.S. We do have some machines already in the Chicagoland area at CN Rail Yards in Norfolk Southern. There's approximately 20 machines that we sell. The Terberg Tractors is a new business that we're taking on, selling those. So we might stock some of those in our parking lot. But the use for the building will mainly be to support sales and service. We will do some work on components in the shop area, and we'll probably have 5 to 6 employees in that building.
Is there a geographic area you'll be covering?
The whole U.S.
From our operation, it's.
Correct.
Wow.
There's no other branch in the United States of your
We
company?
have a sales rep right now in Texas, and we'll probably put some spare parts warehouses throughout the U.S.
Okay.
But this will be the main office.
Sales tax will probably stay right here from,
Well, sales tax is based on where the machines ship, so there won't be much tax revenue because there's no customers in this one.
I thought otherwise, but that's, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion approved, Nero.
Second, Little.
Motion's been made and second to approve on the question.
The staff report from Planning and Zoning, or Community Development Department had several conditions that were recommended for this approval, and those were discussed by the Planning and Zoning Commission. They're included in the ordinance.
And you have no problem with any of them?
No.
Good.
Any other comments? Anybody?
Thanks for
So,
choosing Westmont.
obviously, the machines, like purchasing a car, you say that sales tax goes to whatever,
Where it's
wherever
delivered.
they're at.
Correct.
Is that the same for components and things like that, or does that?
Same for the components, yeah.
Same for the parts and so forth, too?
So you're just shipping them?
Correct. Yeah, we'll have spare parts in our warehouse that we'll store, but again, that's based on the ship to.
So I guess a little different than a car then, because if a car you purchase, yes, it goes to your town, but if I go back to that dealership and buy parts, they're not putting that tax back in my town. They would take that at that dealership location. So I guess just a little different than John,
Yeah.
right? Is that?
Car and parts you pick up in Westmont, his is interstate commerce, so it's just a different thing. Sorry, I don't know if that's right. but-
Any additional?
Just make everybody pick them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There are some
Pickup
customers
counter
that
in
they live in
Westmont.
Downers Grove, and they're like, oh, we could just pick up the parts as we drive to the.
Isn't that one of the conditions?
We could stop the trains and.
Seeing no other, I ask for a roll call, please.
I'm sorry. I was looking for the motion.
Did
I
I
got
get a
it,
motion?
I
You
got
got
it,
it?
yeah,
All right.
we got it. Trustee Nero,
Yes.
trustee Barker,
No sales tax revenue, I vote no.
trustee Barry,
Yes.
trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank
Look
you.
forward to your opening with the Larry Forsberg in the back. He's the guy you need to see. New business F, 140 West 63rd Street, the final plat for Mariano's Gas Station. Board to consider ordinance approving a final plat of subdivision for property located in the C1 Commercial Business District to divide one lot into two. Manager May.
Again, the preliminary plat of subdivision was already approved on July 18th of 2019. Plans are ready. Staff recommends approval of the final plat.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve as presented, Barry?
Second, Addington.
Motion made and second to approve. We do have a representative. Anybody got questions? I think we covered them. Anybody in the audience? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Barry,
Yes.
trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Little,
Yes.
trustee Barker,
Yes.
trustee Nero.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business G, 303 West Ogden, the final plat of consolidation. Board to consider ordinance approving a final plat of consolidation for property located in the B2 district to consolidate 5 lots into one at 301 to 319 West Ogden and 530 North Park Avenue, and create a new single address at 303 West Ogden Avenue in Westmont. Manager May.
This item, the preliminary plat was, of consolidation was approved on May 9th, 2019, and the final plat is ready for approval, which staff recommends.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Barry?
Second, Nero.
Motion made and second. Any additional comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Trustee Barry,
Yes.
trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Little,
Yes.
trustee Nero,
Yes.
trustee Barker.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business H, 6200 South Cass, Market Center. Board to consider ordinance approving an amended site plan and landscape plan for the Market Center plan development. And I got Manager May to give some additional information.
This one, the developer is proposing to change the site and landscaping plan for Market Center plan development to accommodate new mix of uses, including the relocation of a drive-through facility from Lot 2 to Lot 3. The proposal also specifies wall signage. This item was before Planning and Zoning Commission on September 11th and received a vote of 5-1 to recommend. There are other qualifications, or I don't want to say concerns, but recommendations that came with that the developer has been working to address since. This was just on September 11th, so the item was turned in the last version, this morning. I can only qualify that with community development hasn't seen it yet, but it's substantially in compliance with the plan that was sent to planning and zoning with the recommended changes.
And the developers here, I guess I'd call you up to make a presentation on the changes or the,
And before the meeting, the attachment that was distributed by email this morning, that's the one that that's folded that I passed out. That's the most current site plan.
You're asking the wrong guy, I think.
And I'll also point out, while the applicant's getting ready, that since the revised plan did just come through, it's subject to approval by the village manager and community development department. The ordinance requires that all landscaping be continuously maintained at all times, repaired, replaced as necessary. And then lastly, there are elevations, I know they were part of your packet. In approving the amended site plan, you're also approving the proposed building elevations, and they have to build in substantial conformity with those elevations.
Thank you.
Don? The overhead will work if you want to use that for any of the, you just
Okay.
set it down, it'll turn on.
If you could give me just a
Thank you.
Great. Thanks for everyone's time tonight. Appreciate it. My name is John Schottish with Kensington Development Partners and Bradford Real Estate. We'll keep it brief and happy to answer any of your questions.
This one that we're looking at, this is the closest to Cass Avenue. I think you already have one tenant in here, don't you?
Yes, I'm going to run through it really
Go ahead.
quickly if that's okay, sir, and I'll start with the big picture site plan. But, you know, as you know, obviously, we're well underway and moving forward and started vertical construction with LA Fitness and Raising Cane's, and we're here before you to modify the other phase of the site plan and the landscaping plan and amend the PUD. And we're obviously finishing up all of our common area work as originally agreed to. Here is the plan for the future development adjacent to LA Fitness and Raising Cane's, which proposes on Lot 4 a 35,000 square foot retailer, and then have room for adjacent 10 to 15,000 square foot junior box in the future. And then we relocated the multi-tenant building anchored by the National Coffee Store that we're hope to soon announce within days here to Lot 3. But everything else, the infrastructure, access, everything else stays the same. This is the latest and greatest zoomed-in site plan for Lot 3. Plan Commission and staff worked pretty tirelessly, especially staff, with some strong recommendations on how to improve the circulation, overall safety. We engaged our traffic consultant and bounced a bunch of ideas off the consultant and along with staff. And I just want to quickly point out the few things that the 7 or 8 changes that we did make. You know, one, we increased the turning radius on the north access drive over here to make it a little bit safer for cars that are going eastbound behind the proposed 35,000 square foot user, although there won't be a lot of traffic there. There still could be some cut-through traffic. We wanted to improve, we shifted the building 2 feet west. So this building went 2 feet west to allow traditional depth of the parking stalls, which was another recommendation. So we're able to have 18 feet stalls for each side. 3, we added adding a left-only signage and striping the end of the drive-through. This was, to me, this was also a really important change. Before, cars were able to make kind of a semi-U-turn here, and staff thought that was unsafe, so we extended this median barrier curb a little bit further east, curved it more, put a left turn-only lane to make it safer for customers. See, we added a stop bar and signage to the end of the drive-through lane to improve safety. We added signage and striping to improve safety of the southwest corner, make it more clear that this is a stop sign and a stop bar, and here is clearly do not enter because this is only drive-through and bypass lane only. And then I think lastly, we revised striping for southbound vehicles on the west side of the site to improve driver awareness and reduce conflicts. there's one other, I think one other recommendation that was a good one was make a one-way traffic. It just didn't work for a couple of our national retailers because it's more set up for more of a single-tenant building. But this was due to the site constraints. These are the improvements that we made from the last time we presented to Plan Commission.
And then, John, based on your comment, we would want to make a motion subject to the final review by staff.
That's already in the ordinance. I revised the ordinance since it was distributed last night, just to clarify. We wanted to make sure
Yeah,
Bruce
it's
had a
still
chance to get his
subject,
eyes
okay.
on it. Steve's been in a lot of meetings today, so I think he's still getting his eyes on it. I think the only really concern, because they addressed, as I understand it, all of the Planning and Zoning Commission concerns, just had to do with traffic circulation, particularly pulling out of the drive-through lane. So I think in fairness to Bruce, that's in the ordinance.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, and I'll just, let's see, I'll quickly highlight architecture. And we do have our architects here, so if you have more questions, happy to address them, but we'll try to keep it brief here. But this is the proposed multi-tenant building on Lot 3, where the National Coffee Store will go, along with the other tenants. I think the rendering, I think you guys have the image of it, the rendering of the 35,000 square foot retailer is in your package.
What's your unit sizes there for the 5 units? You're showing 5
Sure,
different tenants.
yeah, they range from anywhere from kind of 1,500 in the middle to 3,500 square feet, where the coffee store is going to be 2,200 square feet. And they're the closest one to executing the lease.
Oh, good. What do you anticipate for those size units?
What other type of uses?
Yeah.
We think it'll be a mixture of, there will be, 1 or 2 maybe service-oriented retailers, but, we think there's also some fast casual restaurants, potentially like a sandwich shop. I think, the market keeps on getting better with the construction, everything's happening, especially what you're proposing to the north, so I think it's just trending the right way. It'd always be a great neighborhood community intersection, but, and we also still have the lot adjacent to Raising Cane's that we're marketing.
Good.
But, I'm sorry if I rushed that, but we're here to answer
No,
any
not at all.
questions, so. But I think overall, that concludes our presentation, and both architects and engineer are here to.
First of all, I'm going to ask for a motion to approve as presented, and I'll open it up for questions.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Motion been made and second. Now on the question. Anybody in the audience? Seeing none, then I'll open it up to the board. Comments?
I'd like to make a comment.
Trustee Barker.
I watched the board meeting, or planning and zoning, they put you through your paces pretty good. They did great work, at planning and zoning with this, and one of the comments was that this was modern looking and clean and nice and everything, and I gotta compliment the architects on that. And then I said, that corner will look good, and it's never looked this good, so I'm excited for you guys to wrap it all up down there, as I know you want to.
Thanks, appreciate it.
And it does look good. You're going vertical. Raising Cane and the LA Fitness, do you have a projected time that they may be opening?
Sure, I believe Raising Cane's is end of November, and then LA Fitness, let's just call it first quarter next year, because I don't know the exact date in my head, but early next year.
In this coffee shop, that would be in line with
Yeah,
the same?
our goal, and we're continuing to drive staff crazy, so I apologize in advance, but we want to go vertical on both buildings this year.
Okay.
So
That
that's why we're trying to hustle.
All right.
So just some questions on the landscaping. I see on this, the blown-up illustration you gave us, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 trees, it looks like, in between Cass Avenue and the parking. But and maybe it's just not indicated on here. Is is there more landscaping going on these islands and corners and so forth? I know when we started originally, going back to Jill,
Sure.
one of the most impressive things was the landscaping and having all that coordination. And I just want to make sure that we stick with that all the way
Yeah,
through.
no,
you know.
I think that's a great point. Here's the landscaping plan, sir. I think what we're able to do, two things, and going back to kind of Jill and staff and everyone else that have voiced their opinion on this, is one, we wanted to make sure we had exercise landscaping at the entrance along Cass. And here, we're able to probably get another row of parking if we wanted to, but because we knew we were a little bit short here, we wanted to beef up the landscaping along Cass and lose some parking because we think we have ample amount of stalls. So we tried our best to accommodate that, and it's better probably seen in this visual in front of you.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Additional questions? Comments? Seeing
Mr.
none?
Gross here? All right, I apologize to you. All right.
These guys are apologizing to
Well,
us. Seeing no other questions, I'd ask for a roll call.
Trustee Addington?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Passes. We'll look forward to the opening of one of those or all of them.
yes, no, we're
Yeah, thank you,
super excited. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
thank you.
The
Moving
architects
on.
didn't even need to show their material board, so they had it up easy.
Always good to bring.
New business I. The IGA with DuPage County Water Quality Improvement Project. Board to consider ordinance approving an intergovernmental agreement, which is an IGA, with DuPage County for reimbursement of water quality improvements as part of the proposed Ashford Detention Management Project, 61st Street and Richmond. Director Ramsey.
Thank you, Mayor. The village is currently in Phase 2 engineering design for the proposed Ashford Detention Management Project at 61st and Richmond. The improvements include a water quality feature that is qualified for county's Water Quality Incentive Program grant program. Upon completion of this program, the village will be reimbursed for $51,011.10 for the water quality portion of this project. As we discussed earlier, as Noriel had brought up earlier, this is the dry basin that's at 61st and Richmond. But we had applied for the grant, and we were able to receive this amount of money to help cover the cost, some of the costs of the project.
Do I have a motion to approve the IGA?
Motion to approve, Barry?
Second, Little?
On the questions? Seeing none, anybody? I ask for a roll call, please.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Addington?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Motion passes. New business J, 6015 South Cass, special use fire station. Board to consider ordinance approving a special use permit to allow the village to install a fleet vehicle fueling area at the fire station at 6015 South Cass Avenue. Got Director Ramsey.
Thank you, Mayor. Public Works is proposing to move the fleet vehicle fueling area from the street department, which is at 328 South Wilmette, to 6015 South Cass, where the present fire station is located. The Planning and Zoning Commission has considered this request at the public hearing on September 11th, 2019, and it was voted 5-1 to recommend the approval with 2 conditions of approval as noted in the staff report.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Little?
Second, Nero.
Motion's been made and second. On the question? Oh, Manager May.
Well, I just wanted to add, we covered it well at the Public Works Committee meeting. There were conditions or recommendations on the approval. We're very much supportive and interested in those recommendations, but as I discussed, would like to be able to construct it in parts to allow us, if the opportunity presents itself, to build part of it this fall and do the rest in the spring.
Trustee Barker, you had the lighting in they're addressing. I don't know if you wanted to repeat.
I can address some of it,
Okay.
if you don't mind. You said, I think, 2 conditions of approval. There are actually 4 that came out of Planning and Zoning Commission. They're in the ordinance that I sent. One has to do with fencing and landscaping. Second has to do with landscaping in front of the fuel island canopy. The other has to do with lighting. Not only does the lighting around the fuel canopy have to comply with the photometric standards of the village, which is true with any development, but Public Works agreed to having motion-activated sensor. So the lights are going to turn off, the ordinance says by 11 o'clock, and then if a truck pulls in, the lights will turn on and then automatically turn off again.
And we'll also, I just added that, we'll also have the ability to dim the lights during even normal hours if we need to. We'll figure out what the optimal light displacement will be for that project.
Any
In theory, then, doing it that way, it's really then becomes a 24/7 as far as operations go.
Right, it will be because, we're emergency, so in a snow event or, or main break or something.
You got an ambulance that's going like crazy, you can fill it anytime.
Yeah, police fills up all, 24/7.
We do that now
too.
at,
Do they?
Yeah, and the snow plowing, snow plowing's all night, so it's.
any additional comments? I'd ask for a roll call.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business K, Merchant Services Agreement. Board to consider ordinance approving an agreement for merchant card processing services with AMS. Director Parker.
This is a company that will be processing our credit card payments, and we need a new company with our new financial software. This is a company that seems to work best with that financial software. And I'll defer to the attorney. I know we're still in negotiations with them on the exact terms. I'll defer to John on whether or not we're close enough to approve it at this point.
I believe so. We only had a couple, I think, relatively minor changes that had to do with the village's ability to terminate the agreement if the vendor is in default, which should be agreed to, I would hope. So the ordinance approves it subject to finance director and village attorney approving the final modifications.
Do I have a motion?
Motion by Addington to approve.
Second Little.
Motion made and second to approve. Any additional comments? Anybody? Seeing none, I'd ask for roll call.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Motion passes. Miscellaneous.
I do have one item that I wanted to bring to the attention of the board.
Good.
The waste management contract includes a provision that if there's a change in state law that impacts basically their cost of business, then they can calculate the increased cost and let the village know what that cost will be. So with the state's recent increase on motor fuel tax as well as truck registration to fund some road repairs in Illinois, that has increased their cost to provide the service to us, so they've notified us they're going to be raising rates by 17 cents per household, effective October 1st. So that will go into effect on our residents' October 31st bills.
17 cents per bill.
Believe it's 17 cents per month, so.
34
our residents
cents.
are twice a month, every 2 months, so 34 cents per bill.
Mayor?
Yes.
Under miscellaneous, last week and this week in Westmont, Patty sends out that summary. There was an article there by, not an article, but a summary of a meeting that was held at the county board with Chairman Cronin. I read that. It, had some impact. It was on recreational cannabis. I summarized it. I copied everybody, so I have a copy for you and a summary of that I would just like to distribute when we leave today.
Good.
This is part of our education.
Thank you. Great. I think everybody, including the state, is getting educated.
And Steve and I were at the IML attorney session and there last Thursday, and there was a lengthy presentation on it.
I'm sure our HR director has some concerns and questions too. So does the police chief. Anybody else? Trustee Barry?
Sure, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
Just very exciting, everything going on the 63rd Street corridor. We saw tonight that, so many things on the agenda are, really breeding off of Mariano's going back from previous boards, but very exciting, everything that's going on in the south end of town. So just really glad to see all that moving forward.
And we always said we needed an anchor, and we got Mariano's. Now, Holiday's project right here, that may be our anchor to jumpstart downtown.
Keeping them crossed.
Anything else? Mr. Forsberg, you want anything to add? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second. Nero. Motion made and second to adjourn. There will not be an executive session, so I'd ask for roll call, please.
Trustee Little. Yes. Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
And this meeting is adjourned. I want to thank everybody for coming. Thank you.
Hey, Chief.